What does that even mean, Bowers Game Corner? Oh, hey there, YouTube! I'm back again today for another game review. And today I'm very excited to be checking out Lotus from Ravensburger. This is for 2 to 4 players, ages 10 to 99. It'll take about 15 to 20 minutes to play. And in Lotus, you're going to be trying to free your magical dragons from China. I don't know. The theme's completely pasted on. It's an abstract game. You're trying to get all of your pieces off the board by jumping on top of your opponents and then leaping away to freedom. What am I talking about? Let's open it up and see how it works. Alrighty then, we're going to be checking out Lotus on our grip mat, which turns every game into a space game. So in Lotus, what you're going to be trying to do is you're going to be trying to get all your pieces from the middle of the board to the outside of the board and then eventually to get off of the board. And you can be the first person to successfully get all of your pieces off the board. You're going to be the winner of the game. Sounds simple? Well, it is simple, and I'll show you how to play. So first and foremost, we got our handy-dandy rule booklet. It is 26 pages, and you're like, 26 pages? Are you kidding me? Well, don't worry. You're only going to need, it's 23 pages. You're only going to need the 3 pages that are in English. The rest are just in different languages. It's a very well-done rule booklet. It'll have you up and running in absolutely no time at all. Next, you're going to get the board. Board has a Japanese theme. The game has a Japanese dragon theme. The theme is completely pasted on. You won't feel like you're a dragon or anything like that. But the board is very, very simple. This is where you're going to start, either over here or over here. And then your goal is to make your way all the way around the board and then eventually to get past this spot. And once you get past this spot right here, you're going to take your piece off the board and you're one step closer to winning the game. There is one special spot on the board right here, and there's this flower right here, which is called, I believe, the leap pad or the leapfrog or something like that, which is going to let you double your moves if you land on there, if you specifically land on that spot, which we'll get more into in a second. So how does movement in this work game? Well, I've got a 3-player game set up. In a 2-player game, you're only going to have 2 colors and you'll have 10 pieces here. So you'd have a pile of 4, 3, 2, and 1. In a 3 or 4-player game, you're going to have a stack of 3, a stack of 2, and a stack of 1 for everybody in the middle, and then you're going to be ready to start the game. So otherwise, component-wise, you get these little things. They do, these little doobers, they do stack on top of each other very well. They're not going to fall over. They're flat. They are very well done and perfectly serviceable for the game. So, on your turn, you're going to have one and only one action. And your action is to move one of your pieces if you are able to move one of your pieces. How do you know if you're able to move one of your pieces? Well, in order to move one of your pieces, it must be on top of a stack. It must be on top of a pile. So, for instance, this black could move, this black could move, this black could move, blue, blue, blue. At the beginning of the game, everyone's going to be able to move. But I'll show you exactly what I'm talking about in a second. So let's just say that this black guy is going to move right here. So he has 3 options on how he'd like to move. He could either move this piece, and since there's only one piece here, he could move that 1 space if he wanted to. He could move this black piece 2 spaces because there's 2 pieces there. So that's another option. He could potentially go 1, 2. Last but not least, he could move the top one of this one 3 spaces because there are 1, 2, 3 pieces there. Now, the pieces don't all have to be your color. So, for instance, if this, in some crazy situation, was how it played out and this was on the board, this black piece on the top would get to move 6 spaces because there are 6 pieces on there. So when you're counting out your movements, count your pieces and your opponent's pieces. So let's show you a little mock gameplay so you can see exactly how it works. So black, he's going to start off, he's going to take his 3 piece here, he's going to go 1, 2, 3. Boom, his turn is over. Blue is going to do the same thing. He's going to go over here, though. He's going to go 1, 2, 3, and then White's going to say, you know what, I'm going to do the exact same thing, and he's going to go 1, 2, 3. Now, he just landed on top of black. So what does that mean? That means that this black piece down here cannot move. So now that it's black's turn, they can either move this piece, or this piece. So if someone is on top of you, you can't move your piece. And what's going to happen is we'd go 1, 2. This guy would go 1, 2. This white would go, hey, 1, 2. This black would once again go right here. And since there's only one piece there, he's going to move 1 spot, which means he's now on top of this white, and he's blocking that white. And so when he decided to move, he would go 3 spaces. And what's going to happen is you're essentially going to be trying to pin down your opponents when you do this, because you're trying to get all your pieces off the board. And if white only had 1 piece left to get off the board, and you were pinning down white, so say, white was right there, you would obviously are not going to move that black piece yet because you don't want white to get unpinned and then to win the game. Because if you're pinned down, you don't get to move. Now, I did mention at the beginning there is one special spot on the board, and I'll get into it right now. So let's pretend that I am right here and I have one white and one black, and it's the black person's turn. The black person is going to say, you know what, I'm going to move this one 2 spaces. So he'd go 1, 2. Now, since he landed on this directly, on that special flower, he gets to go an additional 2 spaces. So he would go additional 1, 2. So landing on there is very, very critical. That could really help you win the game. Likewise, if he was right, say if this scenario was playing out, and there was 3 pieces right here, he would go 1, 2, 3, and then since he went 3 spaces there, he'd get to go another 3 spaces. 1, 2, 3. So this space is huge in how you plan in order to win the game. But you're going to keep playing until one person is able to successfully get all of their pieces off the board, and then that player will be the winner of Lotus, and that, in a nutshell, is how the game is played. Ogre Dogre, Lotus from Ravensburgers. What are my final thoughts? Let's go over the pros, let's go over the cons. First, on the con side, the game's not going to be for everybody because, well, there's no theme at all. Completely non-existent theme. If you want any semblance of theme, look elsewhere. Also, 2 players, it's okay. It's a little bit boring. 3 and 4 players is really where this game hits its stride. Also, this is an abstract game, which means some people just aren't going to be an abstract game. But that's once again tied in with the fact that it doesn't have a theme. Also, this game is probably going to be pretty difficult to find. I got this for like 50 cents at this auction, and I've never seen it anywhere else. I've never heard it mentioned anywhere else, which is a shame, because moving on to the pros, Lotus. I can't, off the top of my head, think of what my favorite abstract game of all time, but I think this might be very close to being one of my favorite abstract games of all time. It is incredibly quick. It is incredibly simple. It is incredibly easy to teach. It's fun. It's fun to try and plot out your course, and then someone jumps on top of you, and you're like, oh, why did you jump on top of me? You should have done this instead. And they're like, yeah, because I knew you were going to do this and that, and you're going to go on the leap pad. And I like that an awful lot. Component-wise, the components are perfectly serviceable. The board does warp a little bit, but you can just bend it back up, and it works just fine. The pieces stack on top of each other just nice. They will tend to roll around a little bit if they hit their side, but nothing that's going to be too bad. And it's really cool to see as people keep stacking on top and on top and on top and on top. I like that an awful lot. I like the fact that you can pin someone down. And if you're on top of them, there is nothing they can do. So if they have a demanding lead, you'd be like, you might have a big lead, but you know what? As long as I don't move this piece, well, you're going to be stuck here. But eventually, you're going to have to move that piece because someone else might stick on top of you. I like that aspect a lot. It says ages 10 to 99. I definitely think you could play this with as young as kids as 6 or 7. Overall, this is a fantastic freaking game. I love this game. It is solid. Every time we get it out, it is fun, and it's quick, and it's light, and it just scratches that itch perfectly. So, Lotus from Ravensburger. If you can find it, or if you have it and you just never play it because it's pretty blah looking, open this one up, check it out. It is a lot of fun. If you enjoyed this review, please be sure to click on the subscribe button down below. And also, in the comments below, let me know. Did you ever watch that Disney show, Gargoyles? I never really watched it. I always thought it was a little bit too creepy for me. I went back and rewatched it. I don't see what all the hubbub was about. I don't think it was that good. But did you like it? Let me know in the comments below. And as always, thanks for your time, YouTube. That was the review for Lotus. For more reviews and previews, check back at Bauer's Game Corner.